Hey guys, and welcome to Top Tier Tier's review of the Capo vs Little Busters. I am late cheap on it as always, and with me I've got the guy who's doing the videos, Tim Tom, the something or other,
Hello.
and Sellet MB, who is up late by his standards.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, so this one's going to be a fairly short one because it's one of the old style EBs that just has rares and commons. I don't think there's uncommons
And
in
it's
this.
just one side of DC versus LB.
We're only doing DC right now, and
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, it's time constraints, either way. This is a rather nostalgic set for some of us, myself included, simply because these are two of the oldest, in fact, I think they are literally the two oldest sets in Y Shorts. And
Well,
they've... No,
Persona
it is
3 is the second,
Persona
like
3.
Persona 3 and the Capo
When are we
are
making that set review, huh?
one. Yeah.
I mean, Persona 3, I think it actually came out after DC and LB came out.
Oh,
Technically.
that's possible, yeah.
It's like technically afterwards, even though it's called Y Schwartz, and it was the first Schwartz side set. They were all at the release promotion, I know that much, but whatever. These are at least tied for the oldest sets in Weiss. And as a result, there's a whole bunch of old bad decks, and they tried to support several of them, as well as some of the better decks, which we will see today. Anyway, before we start, a quick aside on our rating system. It's slowly undergoing changes, and I think we might try moving to an alphabetical structure, where A is top of the class, and D and F are ratings to express how bad cards are. But for now, we're going to stay with the old rating system for everyone's benefit until I decide to write up about the alphabet system. We've got good cards, which are actively good, and they decide what sort of deck structure you have by themselves, whether they need to be supported or are a fantastic shell for other cards. And you often start with some number of these in your deck. Next, we've got by far the biggest rating, and the reason that I want to change the rating system really, the playable rating, which is Y Schwartz is a game that's evolving very slowly. And nowadays you need role players at every level, so oftentimes you're just going to settle for cards which are not broken by any means, but are certainly functional in their role. And then we have the bad cards, which are, bad means bad. Don't play these cards. They're usually strictly outclassed or just make your deck worse. And next we have some addendums to ratings. We have the niche rating, which means this only goes into a certain quote-unquote non-meta deck, like a deck that doesn't really have a chance to be meta.
It's like almost all cards in the set, by the way.
Yeah, but I guess that's why I decided to add niche to an addendum. Otherwise, sets like this would just be, niche plus, niche, 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 niche plus. You know what I mean? And then we've got the meta rating, which is this is what's going to distinguish the set from everything else. Well, I don't give those ratings out very often, and these two guys don't either. But if you do see them, then that's a card to watch out for. So let's not waste too much more time. The first card here is Asaki Yumemishi Kimito Otome. Do they really have to do that? Anyway, I have no idea what that means in English because I just woke up. 3295. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, add one of them to your hand. And Climax combo, when this attacks, if you have Don't Forget This Day in the Climax zone, which is either the promo 2 soul, the stock soul from this set, which you don't have up, by the way, you have the hands up. So it was either promo 2 soul that you got from one of the very first events, or if you have
I think that the promo 2 soul is like DC3, so it's came out pretty late. But whatever, this you don't even need to know this card exists because the stock soul is just better. So
never mind. The one the one that came out that early was the casino promo that I forgot about. Anyway, so yeah, if you have that card, then this gains this and another one of your characters gain on cancel burn. So this is basically Yami without hexproof, and it has I didn't mention the traits until now, but I should mention that in this set, traits are going to be extremely relevant because the Capo is one of the only sets that's still bound by a rather archaic trait restriction, and some of its most powerful cards are locked behind trait necessities and make you build your deck in weird ways.
Especially its advantage engines, which is a problem.
Oh, I don't know. Its best advantage engine is Omi. It's two of the best decks, I guess. So this is Omi Magic trait, which means it only goes into the Magic deck and the Good Stuffs deck, which is partly Magic and it seems partly music at this point. I'm not even sure.
There's like a bunch of different things you do. Like Japan is playing coin flip, like basically 8 coin flip cards, and then like this and the time machine. But the time machine is also Magic, so Japan is playing like a Magic hybrid. But yeah, this is like basically the finisher that you can play in every deck. This is the non-climax combo, non-trade tied finisher.
It is climax combo tied.
Yeah, it's fucking late, but it's the non-trade restricted finisher, basically.
It is very powerful. This is literal Yami, like arguably even better because you dig it deep for the climax.
Well, it's not better because it lacks hexproof, but same as TLR, this set has access to Encore supports and it has access to money counter. So you can go for like 2 Yamis and like head of Encore support and Encore them and then go for 2 Yamis again and survive via money counter. Or something like that.
It's the self-sustaining, very powerful end game, very burn focused, and honestly, this is on power level alone. This is actually one of the strongest cards in the set, without a doubt. The problem is it's so restrictive in terms of trait that it doesn't actually see play in either. Like my belief is that the best decks are Seito Kai, which is Student Council, and Shinbun or Newspaper.
Yeah, Seito Kai didn't get a single card. Basically,
that deck's still really good. And either way, this does not actually go into either of those easily. Like, you could just splash it at the top end because neither of those decks is particularly reliant on a top end finisher. I mean, you can argue newspaper is, but this is just so much more efficient that it's arguably better anyway. But it's just very difficult to cram this in. So I'm hesitant to give this.
Good niche.
Good niche is what I give this card. For obvious reasons, like it's really powerful, but it only goes into 1.5 decks. I don't actually think Magic's a good shell, for the record.
Yeah, I mean, what we can talk about here is basically the shell that I've tried to make work is one where you have this as your top end, and a Sakura we'll talk about like later, and you also have a very old card which has like swimsuit and Miko trade. That basically says when it comes to play, you can check the top 2 cards of the opponent and move one of them to bottom. So it makes it more likely that the first swing goes in, and if the first swing goes in, this is a really good finisher. So I've tried to make that shell work, but it's proven to not be very easy. There's a bunch of stuff you can do to make this better. Just nobody, I think, figured it out how to really make this work the best.
Coin flip.
Yeah, coin flip and time machine.
If coin flip is the answer, I don't want to play that deck, to be quite honest.
Oh, you're just biased, clearly.
That seems like the most sacky deck ever. You're playing like coin flips into time machines. You don't even have a level 2 plan.
Obviously,
these salvage brainstorms get this card, right? They're not.
Yeah.
I think the Sharu isn't trait restricted, but some of them, the Himeno is. I'm trying to remember.
The Himeno only salvages newspaper. Sharu salvages both, but the new one also salvages everything.
new one salvages everything and is
And
like.
the new one is
Wait, I
top
mean, you
self,
could.
so
I
you
mean,
just play the new one.
You could just run the new one and play this in like any deck, right?
Yeah.
It's not actually easy as it sounds. Like yellow is not
But-
easy to splash for in most. Well, it's not
Oh,
easy.
in Well, I'm talking about just Seitokai, for example. I don't know.
Sedokai runs the next brainstorm for sure, but that's like neither here nor there.
Well, it can splash yellow for yellow pretty easily, though. That's my point.
Splash yellow, it just is yellow.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure, you can throw this in Sedokai, it's not too big a problem, but I haven't tested that myself.
Well, you whiffed like top checks and stuff.
Yeah, it's only 4 cards, like whatever, it's not a big deal. The trade-off is pretty worth it. You already run like runners and stuff that fail to top check, so you can definitely cram this in.
I don't think I was running runners in Sedokai. I'm not sure.
Most
Whatever.
Sedokai players, so like, yeah. Either way, good niche. It's just,
Yeah.
it is what it's a good card. Alright, then we move to the exact opposite of a niche card.
This is the card that saved the Capo from being complete trash.
Erica and Yume, Season of Cherry Blossoms, the 0015. It is royalty and student council traits, and it also has magic trait when played to stage, which is very important because it means, well, I don't actually think it's that important.
Well, not when it's played.
It's
actually
on
stage.
It's one of the reasons why the pants combo is playable. So
yeah. Like magic
pretty
on
important.
stage is not that relevant. Well, like it's not that different from having magic in general because most cards that you would play that need such magic traits can usually get something else. And the ones that don't, like you don't play anymore, so it's okay. Anyway, when you play Climax to the Climax Zone, give your character 1k for the turn, typical Married Life text, and Brainstorm, pay 1, tap this, mill 4 cards, and for each Climax card, choose 1 character in your waiting room, add it to your hand. So this is good in pretty much every deck. So it's good in Sedokai because it has the relevant traits. It's good in Newspaper because Newspaper doesn't actually care about the Newspaper trait anymore. It's good in Magic because it can pump all of your other, like there are Magic trait characters which gain power for every other Magic trait on stage. And it's good in the Good Stuff deck that you play with the Blue Pants combo because that one checks your back row traits, and this has 3 different traits for you to pick from.
What are the traits, by the way?
Royalty, Sedokai, and Magic. Royalty is completely irrelevant, but Sedokai and Magic are the 2 big ones.
It's not true because the Royalty decks and finisher is Yukiko, so if you top check a Royalty, then you get to burn 1.
Yeah, but you still don't have like enough Royalty cards to make that a real deck, so.
I mean, it was never a real deck, but this definitely helps that deck. Either way, this is good for every
This helps every deck, basically. Like every deck
Except,
that didn't have a
except
brainstorm.
Music and Abe get a different brainstorm, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to say. It actually fills in all of the gaps quite admirably. Even
It's
the
just
one where,
good.
like Newspaper doesn't even care. Like it'll play 2 of this and 1 Himeno or some crap. Like that's what I have now. Like 2 and 2 or 3 and 1. I don't remember.
You can just.
Because
I'm still playing.
Yeah, go on.
I'm still playing Himenos just because I'm like too lazy to swap them out, but there's no reason to play the Himeno over this, basically. Because you have like a top check burner, but you can just run the Rika top check burner, which checks for both Sedokai and Newspaper.
Correct. Even though that one's like, I mean, it's arguable as to which one's even better if you ignore that, but
yeah,
the Rika checks for both, so it doesn't matter here. The only card that has any relevance at all is the advanced summon Sarah.
Oh yeah, you get less power, I guess.
Field, and I have found that to be relevant once, but that was a matter of 500 power being relevant, and that's just not common, so it's really not a big deal. And as a result, I'm just giving this, like Sotombi says, good rating. It's good.
Okay.
It's good all round. Alright. Next card, Coco, taking that step. It's a 001k. It's a clock bomb, and it, I have to get used to this. I have to talk about the traits every time. It's music trait only, which is fine. It goes in the music and good stuff decks. When this becomes reversed, la-di-da-di-da, clock bomb your opponent if it's level 0 or lower, and when this is placed from hand to stage, you may ditch a card from hand to waiting room. If you do, salvage a fireworks launched in the waiting room. That card is a 1/0 event that lets you check the top 4 cards for a music trait and add it to hand, and it also has a counter.
And it's counter, yeah.
It is only relevant, like we can talk about that when we get to that card, but it's barely relevant. Look, what this card actually is. Oh wait, it's next card, so we can talk about it. We can talk about it now.
Well, I mean, it's like it's ditch onto a card skill to like a check 4 event, which is kind of like a card skill. We've already had that in Persona 5, and it's good there. Even though the Persona 5 event also does other stuff, and the counter stuff is relevant, like especially when you're like before refresh and you just know that there's no climaxes left.
Well, it's
you could just mill through.
You get more information by waiting. So
yeah,
depending on whether your opponent's able to reverse your field, you can choose what you need to get. If they're unable to, for example, you can just prepare for the next few turns. If they are able to, you might get like a costless beater or something. And like you just said, you get a chance to cancel with whatever's left in the deck, and then you can mill out for a more favorable deck if that is the case. But either way, it's I mean, it is useful, but most of the time you're just going to jam it immediately because usually when you need mill, you need it right now.
Is this card
it's annoying
niche?
that yeah, it's definitely niche.
Niche
Yeah,
playable?
But it's like playable, yep.
Niche playable plus?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Playable, yeah, niche playable. Like playable plus niche sounds correct.
Okay.
It's actually fixed this gap that the music deck had, which was, well, you know, milling. So it got both Brainstorm and this card, so now it has a lot of deck control. It still doesn't have top end, so it's like a bad version of To Love Your Animals, but it has milling now, I guess. So we jumped 2 cards down.
Oh, did you want to talk about
foil?
Well,
I'm just gonna say that the foil fireworks event looks really good, and the foil Coco that bonds to it looks really bad, which is somewhat infuriating.
This is why I went out of my way to get the SP. The thing about the fireworks event is that the non-foil is just the blank sky, which is nice in its own right, but the foil has actual fireworks, which is really nice. Whereas the Coco goes from being like good feature art to some generic art of her in pajamas, which, you know, for whatever reason is, you know, whatever. And yeah, let's move on to the next card. Kotori in wedding dress. So we're jumping all over the place. This is DC 1 for the record. 3/2 10k. She's magic and music traits. So she goes into those decks. When this attacks, give a character with either magic or music X power, where X is 500 times the number of your characters with those traits. So she can make herself attacks at 12/5, which is relevant for the next ability. During the turn this is placed from hand stage. When the battle opponent is reversed, you can pay 1. If you do, clock kick that opponent. This is the unfortunate top end of the music deck. It is perfectly serviceable, but we live in 2018, not 2014. So, unfortunately, it's not quite good enough.
Yeah, basically.
There's nothing wrong. Like, it makes it into the deck. Even if it had a good combo, this would probably make it into the deck. But that's all it
I'm not sure you play this in Magic. Like,
you don't play it in Magic, you play it in Music.
Play it in Music.
Magic, I don't think you need to play this.
I mean, you have other supplemental finishers that probably do the job better, right?
Yeah.
Don't require
and, like,
you
paying stock is pretty bad in a set that has access to money counter. Like paying stock during attack phase.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably just. I mean, you'd probably just account for that, right? You're not.
Yeah, sure, but it gives you an additional like stock overhead.
Yeah, but if it's not going to help when you reverse them, you just don't pay the stock. Like, if you do go to exactly 0 stock, then just don't clock kick them. That's fine, unless it's going to kill them outright. You can leave this to the end after all.
I mean, not clock kicking them means that you just attacked with the 3/2 vanilla.
Whatever, and it
I
means you get
mean,
to keep up your
I
money.
just I just think that the stock shouldn't be a problem if you like if this is in your deck, you're obviously gonna plan for it. Seems kind of silly
Yeah, but
to
what if
say.
like
Like,
if
see,
if
it
you're
just seems
playing?
really silly to me to say, like, oh no, this stock cost is gonna bite me in the like what? Like, obviously you're gonna
No,
plan
but
for this, right?
this is actually what happens when you play with this card. Like if you do 2 clock kicks, you lose 2 more stock. Like that's 8. Like that's 2 more stock you need at the
I mean,
beginning
it
of your
just means that you
phase
need
if
more
you want to use
stock.
a counter.
It just means you have to make more stock, or like you have to plan for that. You just use less stock. What?
You say that as if it's an easy thing.
It
Like
is
decks
pretty
don't
easy.
generate as
It
much
is pretty
stocks
easy. You just use less
as you
stock.
want to.
The
We
decks,
don't.
other than actually, you
Okay,
know
so
what?
I'll just never use stock. Yeah,
No, just
that's
you just.
Every every
That's not
deck that
what I'm saying.
runs this, the Magic and Music decks that run this, all have fairly stalwart level 1 games. They're both wall-based decks, and then there's the Time Machine Magic deck, and then there's like the blue combo is also stockless. Like you can make the stock, but because you need to reverse them before you even have this choice, and the fact that you can attack with this last means that you can just leave it. Yes,
I mean
it's no longer
with
doing the job that
with
you
both
put it in the
magic
deck.
and like the good stuff stack, you usually tend to end up brainstorming a bunch, which is just extra stock overhead that you just don't end up having then at level 3.
I
It's not
don't.
like
I don't buy that. I feel like if you have this card in your deck, you're planning on using this card, right? If you have this and
yeah.
money, right? You're obviously planning for the stock expenditures. Like you're obviously not going to like be in a situation. Why would you be in a situation where
Yeah, but this makes your deck worse. Do you not understand that this makes your deck worse if you're forced to spend less stock on stock that you actually just rather spend otherwise? This
Yeah,
is
you
why
can
this
make the
card.
argument. You can make the argument that this stock expenditure is not as impactful. That's certainly doable.
I think if you don't think this is actually like a problem that this card has, that makes this card worse in the
I
context
don't
of the
think it makes it.
Capo,
I don't think it makes it worse. I think if it makes it worse,
then you
you're worse.
haven't played with.
No. It just means you're
Then
a
you
worse
haven't
player
played.
because you can't plan around your stock expenditures. The stock is not the problem, right? I don't
Yes,
think
the
it's a
stock is
I don't. I don't think
You're
that's a problem at
limited
all.
by the amount of stock you can
You can.
generate in a game.
He's right. That is a limit.
Sure,
Like
but
there
like
is only so much
I'm
stock.
just saying, like, if you can't. You're acting as if it's like something that'll come as a surprise when you play this deck.
Well,
If
no,
you play.
his
No,
his
it's not a
comparison.
surprise, but you need to actually like if you evaluate this card, you need to evaluate it in context and like finishers that cost you extra stock during attack phase obviously conflict with a high cost with a 3
Bickering,
cost
guys.
counter.
Stop bickering. Chris, you're comparing it to a non-existent clock kick that doesn't have a stock cost. Like there aren't very many of those around, and certainly not in this set. So if you play this card at all, then clearly you see some value in it. And if that is the case, then it's very difficult to say that it makes the deck worse if you are actually playing it in the deck. In Magic, which I have no experience in for the record, this probably is fine because you just don't spend much if you do the Time Machine combo or if you have your field live or if you're doing your advanced summon Himeno crap because that's not stuff that requires a lot of stock. In Music, which I have played a fair bit, mind you, if you can stick your 1/1 level 2 7/5s and have them not die, which is reasonable, and if you can cancel once or twice, then you do have the stock for this sort of thing endgame, and you have the
I mean,
stock to money counter.
Mikun also ends up like eating stock if you have to
What?
use her.
What does?
The back row that gives the level.
Like the thread of activation is most of what it is, and the opponent will either like if they decide to kill a character, then that's fine. I will let them kill a character. If they want to contest and I can actually do something about it, then I'll pay that stock. That's fine. That's as if I brainstormed and hit. Like it's not a big deal. I did account for these things. The point is that in context, like what you're saying, in Music, I have found that this is not a problem and that I can hold up a money counter in that deck and also use this effect multiple times in a turn. because I don't really use a lot of stock prior to that. The deck does not have an advanced summon yet. There's a promo coming out, but it doesn't really have a good one yet. It only has the Encore Phase Coco summon, which I use sometimes. And I'm still running the 2/1 Coco that you tap to just stock the top card of your deck. So stock has not been an issue for me. Either way, I think we can probably move on. You guys are hopefully done bickering. You're right that this is worse than just discard a card to clock kick, but that's not a card that exists. We can't really theorize too much about that, and we're working with what we're given. And I think this card, as it is still fine. It's a playable plus and by definition niche.
Yeah, it's like the card is still fine. It's just something that you need to consider and something that hurts this specific card profile in this set, unlike in others where it may not matter. Like other sets can spend...
I don't think it's that big a deal. I do not actually think the stock in any of these decks it goes into is a big deal, especially not the Time Machine deck.
Sure.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next card then. Yuki, Caretaker. This girl has not gotten a card since like 2009. It's a 2/1/6/5. Assist to level 3s or higher, 2k power, and when it's placed from hand to stage, you may swap the bottom card of your clock and a magic character in your waiting room. So this is magic trait only. This is very clearly meant to help out the Himeno deck, even though these characters are not related, as far as I know. Because Himeno is a 3/2 that can be advanced summoned via an event. So it's a 2/2 event that says play a Himeno level 3 from your hand. And then it has a combo which lets you pull out any magic card from your clock. So the idea is that this card not only supports the Himeno, but also swaps in ideally the Shiki from the Dalsenyo with you booster, and that gives you a better Himeno combo. So rather than being a magic deck support, this is specifically a Himeno deck support.
And it makes them huge.
It does. It really does. That's like the other thing. It makes Himeno go to like 11/5, and the Shiki is like 13 or something.
This also, you're only 2k to front assist anyways. So like if you want that, you have to run this anyways. Not like the Capo is like early plays worth protecting.
Well, Newspaper has one for them. They have the Mikoto.
Oh yeah, right.
Sedokai can choose to run the level X instead because they value traits so highly. And look, Nabe is not interested in spending stock. Music does not need this.
Nabe doesn't have early plays. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. So as a result, it looks really stupidly narrow, but it just turns out that the power level on this card and the Himeno that it supports is high enough that this actually does work, which is like that's a successful design if you ask me. Ignoring the idea ignoring the design aspect, I do think this card is fine. It's still only like playable niche, but that's perfectly fine in my books.
Well, most of these cards will just be like playable niche because they don't go in the meta deck. They go in like the various supporting different traits, archetypes, or whatever.
Pretty much. All right. The next card. Anzu, Coco, and Akane, good friends. Snow Moon Flower is like the name for their 3 characters in the visual novel. So, neat. There's some trivia for you. 1055 blue, music and play traits. Play is like barely relevant. Like Sumomo exists, I guess, but she is barely relevant. If there's 1 or fewer characters in your back row, this can't attack. This is the demerit for being vanilla sized, and it has a climax combo. When the battle opponent of this is reversed, if you have I Shall Not Forget, which is either a pants or a book, I believe.
Yeah.
Choose one of your back row characters. Search your deck for a character that is either traitless or has a trait that the chosen back row character has. Add it to your hand. So it's like a interesting, restricted on reverse plusing combo. Uh, what do you like? There's
well,
so many things to talk about, really.
I've played with this a bunch, and well, first of all, the drawback is actually a real drawback, and this is way worse than like can't side attack or some other like drawback that doesn't really matter, because this drawback actually like has mattered to a point where I've really struggled with this card. Like still using it, but it has music and play trade. There's a Ricky for music characters, and there's the 1-0 event which fetches music characters, so you can have like more consistency in setting up multiples of this. But it also doesn't like attack very highly. It attacks like a 6-5 and then usually like 1k from the brainstorm. The other problem is that if you don't have the brainstorm out, you're usually like very limited in terms of what you search.
What are the relevant traitless targets?
There basically aren't any.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not LB.
The only traitless character is like Akane. So the Akane waifu that gets to like search stuff.
Yeah, no one knows about that deck except you. So the thing is, you can give this card some power. There is a Coco in one of the EBs that's like tap 2 characters, give a music trait 2k. But that uses up a very valuable back row slot. So unless the other card is exactly your brainstorm, you can sometimes be restricted in what you can actually search. I don't know. This card is very awkward. I tried to fit it into a couple decks. Like I tried to fit into music, and it was fine there. But I decided that it's just I don't really want to do that. I'd rather just play 6-5s, which is not something I often do. Like if you know me, I do not like purely field-based decks. I think they are lower ceiling. I think that they have very poor ability to fall back on like backup plans. Their backup plan is Mesh Brainstorm, hope it hits. And this is a more proactive card that gets you more cards in hand up front, which gives you more ability to prepare, gives you more of a backup. I do not like this card very much. I don't think it's big enough for what it does. I think that its drawbacks are extremely frustrating and make you turf out hand that you didn't really want to turf out sometimes. Like it's happened more than once for me. And my sample size is not big, but because it's not big, the fact that I've had to do it more than once is pretty telling. Like that's a very irritating, thing that's happened.
It's pretty infuriating. Like
because it means that even after I get double combo, I've had to field like some random piece of garbage that like doesn't do anything for me. It just sits in my back row, being a trait donkey, trait mule, and as a result, my hand ends up being like 4, which is ridiculous. Like I'll admit that some of these games were not good. Like I didn't get my level 1 Ricky off. I didn't get my brainstorms to hit first run. Surprise, surprise. But it still did not feel like it was good, especially because this card is very likely to just die on the swing back, unless you get specifically a counter.
Another thing that's like worth mentioning, I guess, is you either have to play level 0 very conservatively, or you need to play with the Ricky to like actually be able to, because you need a full field for this to actually be attacking at all.
So the fate problem there.
Quite a fate problem.
Because Ilya requires 4 or more other masters.
Oh yeah, right.
Except this deck doesn't have Avenger, so
yeah. This deck doesn't have Avenger, and what's in addition to that, the Ricky is in green, and it's a level 1, and this is in blue. So either you like sack the second color of the Ricky, which is really which is like not that likely, and if you don't sack the color, then you're just fucked beyond reparation, or you just don't get hit to 0-6 or 0-5 or whatever. Neither of which are like attractive propositions.
Is it the Ricky in this set?
And you're forced to play a 1-0 Ricky in the first place to like actually make this card not that bad.
It's not just a 1-0 Ricky, it's also on startup assign 1k to something, so it is like, it's not a bad card. and I've got no problem playing it. I also it's from Sakura Saku. It's a Coco.
I see it. Okay. Her
I
head is
also don't
weird.
Look at the
don't you
foil art.
talk
Foil
smack
art.
about my DC waifu, you bitch. Yeah, the foil is what you play. So I don't think the two color thing is as big a deal as
Whoa. That is
um
highly lewd.
please don't lewd my DC waifu. Get away from her, you disgusting degenerate. Either way. Blue green is not impossible to get. Like I've gotten it reasonably regularly because the brainstorm fixes pretty well right now.
So what are the benefits of
Which
playing
brainstorm?
blue-green over like another trait-focused deck like Magic or
There
Seitokai?
are no benefits. You get
Apart
to play
from-
more Cocos.
You don't even
Uh,
get like you have easy fixing for blue, right? So it's not even like a question of
No, the fixing's
not being able to.
too bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, fixing green is-
I'm asking that question
way
with
more
in the
difficult.
context of playing money in like other decks. You get easy blue splashing from like your runner, right?
Yeah, you get. Well, actually, no, I'm not playing runner anymore.
Well-
but there's a very good blue oversize.
But the runner is music trait. You can play it in music.
Yeah, you can also play it like in any good stuff shell that uses the event to up your music count, which is actually what I'm split on like 3 runner and 2 oversizes. But we also haven't touched upon that this like the pants is the old book, and the old book combos with another card, which is like a 2/1 that has play, and I don't know if it has something else, but definitely has play. It might have student council if it's Anzu, yeah.
Not every.
And it's like
not every,
it's it's a 2/1 that's 4K, and it has hand encore, and is on attack with the climax you can draw one, and on attack you can pay 1. This is regardless of climax combo, and you can always pay 1 and draw 1.
so it's like E4, but really, really headache.
Dude, and it has hand encore. This is OP.
It's an interesting card, but I don't think I've built a deck where I use this yet. So
That's
don't know.
Magic.
Look,
Wow.
the reason
No.
to play blue green,
Magic.
I guess,
Is it?
is actually see this is my problem with the deck, right? So it goes around the really weird circle. The reason you play music is, in my opinion, because there's a plus level assist. That means you can actually wall up really effectively, and then you have a bunch of counter options, which are all fine, and it's like a competent wall deck, not like a broken one or anything like Soundless Voice or anything, or Rider. It's very competent, and it's very low. Its overhead, the correct term, is very. You don't need to prepare very much for it. But if you do that, then is there really a point to playing this blue combo? And at that point, you start wondering, and you're like, does it really go in the deck? And then I just took it out, and the deck's been running fine without it. And again, that's really weird for me because I don't normally like these wall type decks, even after testing.
Okay, so the reason why I'm playing this or what the goal is, this is like basically it goes around to the thing that I talked about. Start with the Yami. You want a good deck with the Yami combo. You're very limited in terms of level 1 combos. Basically, you have no choice. You have like the newspaper and Seitokai combo, which only salvages newspaper and Seitokai and needs like a memory requirement. Then you have Time Machine, which I don't think is like a real choice. Because the Time Machine deck also has like no option to turbo mill through its deck. So you're just stuck with eating a lot of damage. And then you have this. So okay, you choose this. Then you work around this. You try to like build a music shell. Or like at the start I didn't have a music shell. I just went like with this and good stuffs. Then I ended up running into the problem where I don't have a full field for this. So I go back and try to add the music shell. And basically you're doing all this because you want to play magic cards. Which is really like just
It's really headachy, right? Like
you're going in 3 circles to play like a combination of, I don't know, I have like 10 cards that I want to play.
you want to play this magic card, like you want to play Otome, right? The level 3?
Yeah.
So I guess we play this music and play trait card and hope that we always draw our brainstorm and hope we hit it. And then we need cards that it's such a headache. I think it's interesting because it's actually a deck building conundrum. It's something that we haven't seen in quite a while. Like most cards you look at and think, this goes obviously in this deck. So it's really ironic that in the set where everything's segregated by trait, there's a card which is clearly like trait restricted. Well, kind of trait restricted because it's like dependent on your back row, right? And you can look at it and think, where does this go? And I appreciate that. But again, that's just a game design thing. That's not actually how good this card is. As far as how this card goes, it's really, really frustrating in my opinion. Like, there might be something to playing this in the Dao deck, because I don't have any faith in any of the Dao combos. So there is that possibility, because again, trait restriction is restricted to what's on stage. So if you just find a Kazane Island card, you can get anything. I don't know, man. This is really interesting. I need to play a bit more with it. For now, I'm just going to give it a playable niche. And niche is like contingent on the fact that it goes into a whole bunch of niche decks, but it does not go into Seto-kai or newspaper.
Basically, why the good decks are good DC decks are because they don't have to play a shitty level 1 combo, because they actually get a good one.
This is so close to being a shitty combo, though. It's so close.
What, the newspaper and Seto-kai one?
No,
Rika is great.
No, he's talking about this combo.
No, I'm talking about how the Rika combo is a good combo, and every other the Capo deck has to play a shit combo. So that's why newspaper and like Seto-kai are the Capo decks to like consider.
Yeah. And now they got the new Rika as well, which makes that combo so much better. Oh god. Alright, next card, Minatsu and Skiware. It's a 0025. When this is placed from stage to waiting room, you may put a card from hand in your claw.
And you search for Makeup Banana or Chairman.
Definitely misread that.
This card is very bad.
It's also on death. Oh,
it's on death. Yeah. It's like a clock searcher in a set that doesn't.
Black Clock Shooter in
I'm
way
gonna
worse.
admit, I have not played an updated banana deck. I have no plans to do so. But I can't see this card being the thing that the banana deck needed, really.
Does the banana deck play this?
No.
Well,
actually,
are you sure? It could be niche bad.
Oh my god. It might play this. I'm not going to make any judgments. Like, if I give a bad rating, it's hopefully informed on as to why exactly it's bad. This card is just generically bad, but it could well fulfill a role, so I'm going to go with... Oh my god. Playable minus niche. No way, man. This has got to be like bad plus niche, right?
This is just I don't think you play this. This is just bad. It's just...
I don't want to play this. Like, maybe you play it, but I don't want to, because the rest of
I'm not playing it in Chairman. I can say that much.
Like, you look at the rest of this booster, and it's actually been pretty well designed. Then you come to this card, and like it gives you pause for thought. Maybe this does.
Well, actually, like the Tomy not having like the Yami not having Seto-kai is still triggering me.
It's good design. That's the point. You don't just want to slap it in Seto-kai. That's the point.
No, the point is that Seto-kai got no level 3s.
Yeah, well, suck it,
and
Seto-kai.
Magic got like 3.
Yeah, well, Magic sucked and Seto-kai didn't, so there you go.
Yeah, Newspaper also got 2 level 3s.
Newspaper got 1 level 3.
Well,
you don't play.
It theoretically got 2.
You don't play the Himeno.
Yeah, you don't play it, but you theoretically got 2. So
whatever.
Just
okay.
Let's move on. We're like an hour in and we've covered like 5 cards.
Nemu and Miharu, Colorful Love Story. It's a Magic Banana 6/5 level 1. This is fine. It goes in the Magic deck. It's red.
There's a 0/0 in the first Capo set that is 500 assist or something, or 500 global. I don't know, and then 500 global to Nemo.
Emu,
Nemus.
yes. So previously people would run the 1055 vanilla, but now you have this to run. Um, we even talked about the drawback. It's not even a drawback in my opinion. When this is placed from hand to
Yeah,
stage,
this
choose
drawback.
your opponent's front row. That
Yeah.
character gains 1k till the end of your opponent's next turn. It's
Oops.
like not a drawback. So like before, Magic's war game was almost entirely green. Like
Well,
I'm pretty
you
sure
ha-
it
you
was.
have the Ellie 6-5 and you have the Rika. That's the can't front higher level.
You also have the 1/1 that goes up to 8k. Which
I
but
was
no,
not playing that.
yeah, Japan was first, so that's why I'm talking about it. And now you have the option of playing a more red game because you can just get 1075s very easily. Like
Usually
'cause-
108 case with
yeah,
the brainstorm.
like, yeah, with the brainstorm. Wait, which brainstorm?
Shiki brainstorm. It's like 500 gold to magic.
Sure, that's
Brainstorm.
fine. Yeah. So if you're not playing the salvage brainstorm, fine, but that's not a problem because this is arguably worth it. Just 1065s or 8Ks or whatever.
Well,
It
you
is
need to
still
play an extra assist to like actually make this like big,
yeah, but that assist
which is a
can
real
like
cost.
work. It can work at level 0 as well because there's a Nemu that goes up to 3/5, so it goes up to 4/5, and it's fine. Like it's not a problem. Either way, this does actually open up a red level 1 option for that deck.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a buff to any deck. Like it's probably a buff to the banana deck too, because Miharu is also banana right? So yeah. What?
Like we have like the decent decks, then we have the niche decks, and then we have the niche decks. And banana is like one of those niche decks.
This is like it's
So it's
probably
like
actually
playable.
plus. Like in context, it's probably actually playable plus.
I don't know. I'll stick with playable niche. Like this is removed from all the competitive decks to the sense where
Yeah, of course. It's like a niche card, but that's not under dispute. It's like, is this good enough to be playable plus? Probably not, because it does need something else. But it's like one of the freest 1065s you could ever find. Like, okay,
I think the ones that can't front higher level are pretty free. Actually, like the one more than Ellie.
Do not agree. This one you just played in like, okay, your runner is now a 3k. Like, it's pretty free. Like, this is almost literally free.
Well, it depends. Like, if the opponent set up level 1 first, and this can be annoying.
Yeah, sure, but that's not been an issue in my.
Okay, sure. Let's just move on.
Let's move on. Playable niche.
Yeah.
Sakura, Innocent Lady, 0025. Up to once a turn. When this is reversed in battle, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 2 or higher, you may rest this card.
It's not even a good coin flip.
Yeah, it's worse
but
than
it is magic trade. And that's
magic trade. Look, this is because of its ceiling. It's like objectively a playable plus niche card.
I think the reason why this is like reasonable is because there's another coin flip card in the Capo, which is like a PR from Felsenio, which is like insanely expensive now. Because fuck Japan.
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan. I do not like coin flip decks. But if you want to play coin flip, this is obviously one of your.
The problem is that this like the Capo doesn't have a payoff for playing a coin flip deck. Like Love Live Sunshine isn't really a coin flip deck anyways, but like Fate has like a payoff for playing a coin flip deck. The Capo doesn't. Like the Capo just uses this as its engine to get to its end game because the Capo is a lack of engines to get there. I just don't think that coin flipping is a good engine.
Yeah, like Magic does not have good engines, and you are kind of playing coin flip anyway if you're playing the
Time Machine.
The Stop Soul Time Machine. So
yeah,
this is I don't know. It's
this is like playable niche.
Playable plus niche is probably where it lands. All right. Now we get to the DC 1 and 2 reprints. So this is a weird ass order because it's going from DC 1 and 2 to DC 3. So we get the reprints first. Nanaka and Jim outfits a 1065 music and sports trait. Sports did not need this. Music is very, very happy to have this.
We're not at reprints yet, by the way.
It's a reprint.
Is it? The Char's isn't a reprint, and we didn't cover that yet. So.
What? That's because DC3 is after the reprints.
Oh, okay.
I asked
Holy
you if there were any. Oh my god,
Yeah, no.
this guy.
So it's a 1065. The opponent can't. The character op. Well, this can't side attack, and the character opposite this gains character encore. Neither of which is supremely relevant. The point is, this is a 1065 for the music deck, which likes wars. I think. Well, I think wars are fine in music. I don't think they're actively good, but I think they're better than the female Sunbuckers. Ironically, this card would be really, really good if its only demerit was cannot attack higher level opponents. But unfortunately, that is not the case here. Playable niche. If that's what we gave to the banana one, I'm giving it to this one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next card is Erica, Special Foreign Student, Royalty trait for the Royalty deck. You play it in that deck, but that doesn't make this. It's a
If you have
1/1/6
two or more
deck.
other royalty characters, this gains 1/5 and encore. So it's a 7/5 encore in the royalty deck, which I'm pretty sure still doesn't exist.
It does exist, but only because of the Erica at top end, and this is in that deck is playable niche, because 7/5 encore is generically fine profile. It's not like it's not strong or anything. It's fine.
It's not strong, but it's not like you had strong cards in that deck. So
Correct. All right. Next card, Mahiru, Big Ruckus, 00500. When this is reversed in battle, you may pay 1, put the top card of your deck in clock, and send this to memory. If you do, search your deck to up to 1. Okay, so this trait is literally Tatoeba, which in Japanese means for example. Heart of the Cards has written it as simple example, which is not really wrong. Like it's about correct, but I refuse to say that. So I'm going to say Tatoeba. So you search for either one Tatoeba or Chairman and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. This
is the only playable Tatoeba card the level 3 come into play burn.
There's the 1/0, which you can discard a specific climax to search 2 Tatoeba or Chairman from your deck.
That's not good. Like playable.
It's playable in this deck that's playing this garbage.
Well, I thought about playing this in Chairman, but in Chairman, like I'm running the 1/1 Anzu with the alarm effect, and I'm running 4 of the Chairman event that heals 2 Chairmans from clock. And this doesn't have Chairman. This only has Tatoeba. So this I can't heal this off with my event.
You can still play this. It's like a memory Ricky.
But I can't heal this off with my event.
Still play this. It is
I'm not
playable.
I'm not
niche.
convinced. This
Like,
is like
I'm almost
this is like
certain
again
you
this
play
like this would need like playable niche.
Not playing this in your Chairman deck when this is clear Chairman support seems strictly incorrect. Alright, let's move on. I just want to make mention that the next climax is called Hey Yo Brother.
Hey yo.
Anyway, next card, Nemu Accommodating, is a 2/1/6K. I don't think I opened a single regular one of these, which is really weird, but I opened a bunch of foils. For each of your other Magic, Banana, or...
Judgment.
they just have it as...
What the fuck is Judgment?
Judgment, this.
It's the railgun. It's the railgun, So, it's not actually Judgment. The Railgun Disciplinary Committee is called Judgment. So it's been translated as that here. In reality, it's Disciplinary Committee.
Yeah.
This is like
what Kanata has in the early LB series.
It's like a 2013 card.
No, in 2013 you didn't have 2/1/10Ks.
I'm not that part. I'm talking about the other part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I actually I was not very clever the other day, and I ran random level 2 I had lying around into one of these. I didn't realize it had this text, which was not smart of
Wow.
me, but I still won the game on that turn, so it didn't matter. It's a
What deck
2-1-6
is
deck.
playing this?
It's the same deck that runs the 1-0 for the Nemu name.
Oh sure. Well,
Banana deck, dude.
No,
yeah.
the
Okay.
the red magic deck.
I mean, but
Uh,
this,
So the
dude,
red
this
magic
is
deck
a.
isn't running Himeno.
Or
What's the red magic deck like? Is it just Otome and like gates, empty ones?
yeah, it's like empty gate.
Okay.
Sick.
It's, yeah, this card is fine. It's like playable niche. Only goes into that deck, and it's not a super powerful deck or anything.
I guess it's like a 2-1 11k with the 0/0.
Which
Yeah.
is like pretty decent, if you ask me.
Yeah. You
right.
can like imagine you're playing Guardian, except
Except not at all, not even slightly.
yeah.
Mako and Moe in swimsuits, 001k. This used to be a vanilla, and look, I'm really upset because the vanilla was one of my several wall cards at level 0 in the Nabe deck. So now
Oh,
I'm,
Vanilla was
no.
actually good. Like the
I'm-
vanilla was actually good. Why
Yeah,
why
like-
did they change the vanilla?
I am down from 6 plus in level 0s in that deck to 4, and it upsets me greatly. So
Oh,
001k. Music and Nabe trait. This is your blue fix in the music deck, and it's a Nabe deck staple. During your opponent's turn, your other character in the front row gains 1k power. So, front row center slot, sorry, gains 1k power. So, not bad. It's very good for the Nabe deck specifically, and fine for the music deck. Pay 1, tap this to brainstorm. For 4 cards for each climax, search your deck for up to 1 music or Nabe trait added to your hand. Shuffle your deck. So I should remind everyone that every single card with Nabe on it also has the music trait. I think, except for the red level 0, which
yeah,
does not have
but-
music, and it doesn't have Nabe until it's on stage anyway.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I wanted to say.
this is playable plus niche in those decks. I don't think there's much to say about
I'm
it.
still-
It provides
Like Nabe didn't need a brainstorm. Nabe needed like everything but a brainstorm because Nabe
happy to
already had a brainstorm.
happy-
Like
the draw
your
to
back
the
row was already filled, so
It is happy to have this. Like, I don't think there's a problem with having this and then cutting a couple of the draw to ditch to, because that card, while it was super good, like it's not the engine or anything. Whereas this is arguably an engine for that deck. It is unfortunately stock intensive, but like whatever. Playable plus niche for both music and Nabe. Alright, now we move on to DC3. Despite being a DC staple, Sakura Yoshino, view seen review, this is the adult Sakura. 3-10k.
Wait, there's a young Sakura?
Are you retarded? Like the coin flip card is Sakura.
yeah.
Oh!
It was like 10 seconds ago.
I don't know this series, dude.
Secondaries.
Of course I'm a
Yams.
secondary.
Pathetic. 3-10k, hexproof. So this plus the Otome is basically Yami. When it attacks, give one of your other magic characters 500
What
times the
the-
number of your other magic characters. So like pump something by 2k probably. During the turn, this is placed from hand to stage. At the start of your encore step, mill 2. Deal X damage where X is the number of soul triggers among those cards you milled.
So
Be careful who
Interesting
you
fact.
make fun of in middle school or something.
He's like eternally young because of the stupid gimmick of the series. So
I
yeah.
see.
well,
You know,
Anyways.
this card is really sick because you can use it with the you can
In
put
back
the
row.
last cancel bird from the Yami onto this card.
yeah.
And then
Whew.
it can be back row even. And then when
Yeah.
you do that, it gets damage. Like if it hits a soul trigger, if that's cancelled, you do get the cancel burn. So that's cute.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, like this is a free random chance to burn. There's nothing wrong with that.
Also like if all your climaxes have soul triggers, it basically means that even if you whiff, you just mill 2 clean damage from the top, which is cool.
Yeah, so it's it's like a win-win in each situation, and it's like a win-win in a way that's different from bad cards like Ronco or the Deco.
Well, this is also not tied. I mean, this isn't tied to a climax. This isn't.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be an
Also,
attacker.
This can even be reversed.
This can't even.
And it's
This can't even be
fight.
like bounced or like can't be interacted with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's playable plus.
I mean, that's a
niche.
difference. That's a difference between those cards and this card. It's like there's just like a lot of things.
This is actually just good straight up because like even if you just field 3 of these and all of them burn like 1 or 2, it's like pretty good. You obviously need to like have a high trigger count for this, and like you're kinda like you want to play climaxes with soul triggers if you play this.
Wouldn't you argue this is the payoff for the coin flip
Coin
deck?
flip?
You could.
Ooh. Play 4 of these? Ooh. Do the Japanese list play this? I assume they do.
Yeah, I think they play it, but I'm not sure. I don't think they play 4. They play like 2 usually.
I'm good with like niche good actually. I'm gonna agree with Christian here.
Okay. We can go with good niche. You've convinced me because this does seem good in coin flip. Even if I don't like that deck, it seems good in coin flip. I opened this SP. Maybe I should build it. All right, next.
I don't think you have the Darsenio Himari PRs, and those are like fucking expensive. So you won't build it.
Rika, Weaving Feelings of Love, 0015. When this is reversed in battle, you may pay 1, put the top card of your deck in clock, and send this to memory. If you do, salvage a level 1 or lower character. So this card is...
This card is so restrictive. I hate this profile.
If you have to pick one thing on this card that is good, it is actually the fact it goes to memory. Yeah, that's actually the only thing that really matters on this card, because the newspaper was missing cards that went to memory and also plussed.
I'm actually not sure if I like this more than the drop searcher, like the on memory drop searcher, because the drop searcher is usually effectively a plus anyways because you fetch your level 1 combo.
Well,
but if you fetch your level 1 combo with this, it's like a plus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a plus 2. Then it's like Ricky. But how often do you have the level 1 combo in waiting room?
I mean,
if you did shield level 1 combo from your opening hand, first of all, why are you doing this?
Because you have this card, right? Ooh.
Yeah, but you're not actually getting an extra plus because you wouldn't have ditched your level 1 combo without this.
That's not how. What?
If you open both, then it's not unreasonable to do that. But
yeah, sure. But if you compare it to the drop searcher,
you can't wait. You can't say that this isn't a plus. In that scenario.
It is a plus. It's always a plus.
I'm saying like even if you drop your combo, like this is still like a plus, like a plus 2.
If you compare it to the drop searcher, right? With the drop searcher, you wouldn't have dropped the 1-0, and you would have got still would have got the plus with
that doesn't make any sense. It's still a plus, like it's still a plus 2.
It's still a plus.
What the hell?
Yeah, but effectively,
what are you
saying?
It
doesn't change. Like, think about it this way. But if you play the drop...
But you can't say... like, you can't say it's not a plus
result. I'm saying that the end result is the same amount of pluses regardless.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It really is.
What?
Like, it strictly is not for that stock expenditure. That is just objectively incorrect.
What?
This is a plus. This is a plus regardless of what you get. And if you had those 1-0s anyway, like maybe the drop searcher gets you an additional 1-0, that's fine, but it's not a plus there and then. And you do want pluses with this deck. Like, it's very easy to just drop a random... Okay, look, I
mean, this is a fine tri-field card. It's fine. Whatever. It's like, it could even...
No, I get what you're saying. You're saying that... You're saying the drop searcher gets you 1 additional climax combo as opposed to this because it's a searcher and not a salvager, and therefore the quote-unquote number of pluses remains the same. But that's not really the case because there are sometimes you don't draw your climax. Sometimes where there is a drop searcher in there because you just cancelled with 1. Sometimes because you triggered 1. Like, these are not high percentage chances, but when you add them all together, the chance is not insignificant. Like it's happened, and sometimes you just ditch a card that you probably weren't going to play anyway, like the 0-0, like another 0-0 memory Rika, because you don't need that much memory, right? I've been dropping that one.
But like
and you just
other
salvage
times,
that.
there will also be games where you actually have 0 targets.
I have not encountered that so
That
far.
seems rather unlikely.
No, like just look at it this way: you're going first, and you're not ditching any level 1s or level 0s. And
I'll
then
ditch
if you
level
don't
0s if
trigger
I have
exactly a
this in
level
my
1
hand.
or level 0, you don't have a target.
I will absolutely ditch level 0 or level 1 if I have this in my hand. I won't ditch the climax
But
combo.
what if you
anything else-
don't start with this? What if you don't start with this? What if you
What
draw
do you
it like after you will, like you ditch 3 cards and then you draw this from the top? Are you ditching your only level 0? Are you ditching like your
I
level 1
OB
climax?
And if
one,
you're going first,
if I open one level 0, like for example, if I start and open like a level 1 bomb, then I'm just gonna ditch the level 1 bomb. I don't care about that card.
Yeah, sure,
Or-
but what
or
about the level
counter.
1 climax combo?
or a brainstorm, right? Or
Okay.
I'm not ditching a brainstorm.
like level 1 brainstorm.
Why are you playing a level 1
never played a
brainstorm?
level 1 brainstorm.
Sure, but if you're in the case where you only have one level 0, sure, you're not gonna touch that. But like,
Like I
If you have
don't
2
think
level
that
0s
we
and like 3 other cards, you're not ditching your second level 0 either.
might. Depending on level 0, I might.
I
Like,
struggle
if-
to think of the
especially if you're
combination
going,
of zeros.
especially if you're going first, like, you don't necessarily need to attack turn 1 going first either, right?
I prefer.
So,
I prefer.
Obviously,
You-
that would
you'd
be
prefer to
obviously
attack.
that would be ideal. But like, if this is the
Look,
only,
I'm not gonna dispute that this card is like is a role player. It's not particularly good. It just goes to memory. That's like the main thing. It doesn't have selectivity, but it is a plus. Like that can't be disputed. That is
Yeah.
absolutely true. And
But
therefore,
it's like a terrible plus.
it's a low quality plus. But sometimes it's fine. Like a lot of the like sometimes you just get a playable anyway, and that's fine. It is perfectly reasonable. It's like if you brainstorm, for example, and yes, it's a bunch of stock you're spending early, but because this isn't front loaded, you can turn to brainstorm, get some stuff in the waiting room, and then this can die with and use the stock that it generated. So like that's not too bad. I do think that you're like it's not even just the brainstorm. You can use the other memory card, the other Rika, and that mills 4. So there is a way to get some waiting room. I still don't think it's selective. You're right there, but I don't think it's as bad as you're saying. I really don't.
I don't think it's a very good card. It's a role player at best.
It's a role player that pluses, and that's fine. It's like playable plus.
niche playable plus or playable plus.
Not niche. It's Sedokai and Student Council.
Sure.
I think I'm like playable.
Nah, this card's better than you're giving it credit for.
Nah.
I've been happy to see it every single time I draw it.
I wanted to kill myself more often than not.
Yeah, but you're bad, so you don't count. Next card,
Sure.
Humano, future alongside each other. 3295. I'm just moving the conversation along, guys. So 3295. If you have 2 or more other newspaper traits, this gains 1/5 and the ability during battles involving this, your opponent can't play backups from hand. They can still play events. And when this is placed from hand a stage, you may ditch a card from hand. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock.
Aww, newspaper didn't want this. Is all I can say. Like, there's no home for this.
This card is just not useful. Like, the only thing that you might ever use it for is in the exact DC versus LB, because, you know, flavor. DC versus LB matchup, where this is a better healer than the Charles. And that's honestly about it. Like, I don't think there's very much else for this card to do. The first line of text is not really a line of text. Like, it's not that special. It's 11k, your opponent can't back up, that's not really that impressive. It is good with a few other cards, like the Charles, that we'll talk about in a bit, but at that point in the game, I don't think that's your main priority.
Well, the only reason I can see for this is if you're playing, like, Charles and the Sarah restand, and then you don't have enough stock for another level 3. You only have one, and this like is a 2 soul beater that only cost you 1 stock and generated you a heal.
You
But
don't really.
it's not worth it. Like it's not worth running a card for a niche scenario when a card just doesn't really perform.
That
Otherwise,
scenario is
I
also
think
not very common. Like newspaper tends to have a bunch
yeah,
of stock, play 2 stock souls over the course of the game, and especially if you get the combo alongside. So I'm not
yeah,
convinced that this card's really necessary. There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with the card. I just don't think it has a home. It's like a
Playable
It
card.
also doesn't
playable,
have magic trade.
it's like a playable card, I guess. Not even niche, it's just playable.
Okay.
Which is arguably better than a lot of the cards, but I don't think it's better than most of the cards we talk about. Those cards have
I think it's
problems.
actually just playable minus because like you
I
don't
think
want to
playable.
play this in any deck.
That's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. Right, next card.
Ah,
Sarah, next to the person important to her. This is a really lewd implication because the foil of her is of her in pajamas, which just does not work with that text.
it's not just her in pajamas. It's like her with like
Not a bunny.
skin exposed, etc.
I don't know what it looks like. Either way, she has a bunny. Maybe the bunny is the thing important to her. Anyway, 3295. Newspaper and sports. So this is good for sports because that deck had no top end, and it's good for newspaper because that deck wanted splashable top end, like splashballs and non-climax combo. So for
And
each
it
of you,
even works with your climax combo top end. It's
it
like
does.
perfect.
It does. It's very expensive, but you're right, it does. 3295. For each of your other newspaper or sports traits, it gains 500 power, barely relevant. Up to once a turn. During turn, this is placed from hand to stage. When the character in your front row center slot attacks, you may pay 2 and ditch 2 newspaper or sports trait from your hands. If you do, stand this card. So the interaction that was just mentioned, yeah, okay, we get it, you like little girls. The interaction that was just mentioned is that there is a Rika from Sakura
Charles.
Saku. Oh, what am I saying? I'm thinking of Freestand because I'm retarded. There's a Charles from DC3 Anime Extra Booster, which has on attack, pay some large amount of stock, give 2 characters.
No, it's on climax placement, pay 3. God fucking damn it.
On climax placement, pay 3, give 2 characters on attack burn. Of course, it's that. It wouldn't make sense any other way. And you give it to this, so that means you've just built your own Marika. It means every
Build
time
2
it attacks.
Marikas. Ooh.
No, that's like
That's
like
not doable.
that's like 15 stock.
Is it 15
It's
stock?
like actually 15. I'm not sure if it's 15,
No.
but it's
No,
like-
it can't be 15 stock.
2 Saras, 1 Charles.
No, you can't.
You
Like
need 2
Charles has to
stock
pick
after.
herself.
You
Charles-
need 2 stock
Charles
after.
picks herself.
It's 11 stock,
Charles
isn't it?
Charles-
It's 11 stock.
Charles-
No, Charles picks herself and another character.
Oh.
You can't do that.
Okay.
So
well,
yep. So you
Actually,
build 1
just-
Marika.
I'm not sure if she needs to be in front row, so you might not even be able to like do double.
yeah.
But you could do like double Charles and put 2 of the burns on 1 Sarah. But the take's
that's
like-
not realistic. That's like not
That's
realistic at all.
12 stock.
13 stock?
Like this
think
makes
it's
triple Chino Coco is easy compared to double Charles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think it's realistic at all.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Look, this card is fine even standalone. You don't necessarily need the Charles combo. You can just punch them for 2 and then punch them for 2 again for a reasonable cost. Like it's not a cheap cost, but it's fine. You can afford it. And as a result, this is like playable plus. It's pretty.
Payable plus
decent.
good-ish.
Oh, I wouldn't call it good.
Good-ish.
I call it playable. We're
Uh,
not using the good-ish.
the
rating,
annoying
that's-
part about this card is that both well, first of all, the newspaper deck runs 8 crits, and 8 crits with restands is iffy.
You mean
Second part
in the
is
climax
sports
triggers, right?
also runs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sports also runs like at least 4 crits, if not 8. So
I don't think the decks have like easy ways to like get rid of triggers from the deck either.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
anyway,
newspaper can like check for the top card.
What,
The
that
problem
doesn't
is
do anything
this-
for this card.
Yeah,
That doesn't
Yeah.
change anything. This is it's just playable plus in my opinion.
Yeah.
Alright, next card. Mikoto and Wedding Dress. This is the card I managed to open 1 copy of total in 12 boxes.
good
It's
thing
a
you don't need
1045.
this in any deck.
It's not played. It's actually pretty much outclassed by an existing Rika from I think DC anime, or maybe it's a promo. I don't remember. 1045. When it's placed from hand to stage, give a character with either newspaper or love trait X power, where X is 500 times the number of your characters with either newspaper or love. I stand corrected. This goes in the mono love deck, which is like
Doesn't every
Sick.
every love card also have newspaper?
isn't Akane love trait?
No, Akane is traitless.
Oh, okay, sure. Then
She doesn't have love.
standard love trait. No, this is just worse than the Rika in newspaper, and every love card that matters is also a newspaper card. So, this is like a bad role player. It's playable minus. You could even argue
Like
it's bad.
Mikoto waifu only.
Who likes Mikoto? No one likes Mikoto.
You also said that about Akane, and I like Akane, so.
You're not a
You're
person,
like,
though.
yeah, but you're like from. I don't even know where you're from.
You're a ward. He's a ward of the state.
Do you even know what that means? Are you old enough to know what a ward of the state is?
Come on, dude.
Charles, going to school on a snow day. This is the only Charles card in the set. This is unfortunate because this card is like, 00500, newspaper, student council. Despite the good traits and the actually not bad effects, this doesn't go in anything. When
Yeah,
your
this
other
goes in
character-
Child's waifu. Like, this is really
Oh,
good in Child's.
baby. It's
No.
good with the
No.
thing that turns anything into a level bomb thing, right?
Yeah.
That card is so hard to proc in Charles' wife.
Well, is it? Oh,
Yes.
what a
I don't have that
shitty
much
wife.
memory.
What the heck?
Only
She's
have
a
the
memory
4
searcher.
You have
and
you have
only
the
the
4-drop
third.
searcher, yeah, that's it.
Need 2 memory to proc it.
Or playable minus, rather, probably.
Okay, so when another character is reversed, give a character with either newspaper or student council 1/5.
Oh
So,
wait,
like,
what are you talking about? This is so easy to proc in Child's waifu.
I find it quite difficult because I only run. That's not
What
true. I
about-
run 8. I just find it difficult to proc.
You have 8 zeros that go in memory.
Yeah, I just find it difficult to proc. And I
Whatever.
dare say I played Charles Wifey more than you have.
Oh,
Yeah, I absolutely have. Don't even try.
Wow.
I've played
I
Charles
only
Wifey
really started
more than
playing it when I maxed it, so.
I've played it more than I've played newspaper. I'm not even kidding. Choose a character, and then it has another ability. We're not done yet. Pay 1, tap this. Give a character with either newspaper or student council. When the battling opponent is reversed, you may salvage a character. So just straight up, pay 1, tap this, give a character salvage. Kind of like the Silica. Well, exactly like the Silica from whatchamacallit.
That's
Sal.
So
There was also a Rin in Fate, which could also give this effect to a bomb.
yeah, to Archer. So this is fine, because again, it's synergized well with the card that makes things into bombs. And if you want to play this, I don't know if there's a newspaper or student council bomb straight up, but
The
I'm sure
Himeno
the shop-
bomb with the top check. I'm actually
Oh, that's-
playing one of those. So newspaper has the bomb.
yeah. So newspaper has the bomb, but newspaper also has a Rika combo, so there's no reason to have to play this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we really have to talk about for this card. It looks really good. I don't doubt that, and I was pretty happy when I saw it. But the more I thought about it, the worse it got. So, playable is
It
playable.
doesn't really
niche.
go in like the good decks, but it's good in like the waifu decks. So
It's playable niche.
Okay.
Aoi, very happy.
She's very happy.
Playing in the very happy. 217k. When it's attacked, the level of the character opposite is 3 or higher, gains 6k for the turn, and character encore with either newspaper or waitress cards. I don't know if there are any solo waitress traits. I don't really care either.
Isn't it Aoi herself?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's Aoi,
yeah,
but
but
Aoi also has newspaper.
Oh, you mean just
I don't
this
re-
trait? Sure.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, she has newspaper in both the London and Japan arcs. So yeah,
This goes into newspaper and is fine
yeah.
there.
I play one copy in newspaper because unlike the other anti-change beaters, it is a newspaper trait. But I guess that's
Yeah.
not really relevant anymore that you have to brainstorm. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
You can ditch this to the restand, and you can't ditch the other ones to the restand.
That's fair enough.
And you
but the
can
other
also salvage this with your level 1 combo, and you can salvage the other ones with your level 1 combo, which might be more relevant than ditching it to the restand.
that is probably more relevant. So yeah, sure, goes in there, playable.
Okay.
All right, it just keeps going. Sumomo, happy time. 002. Oh, this last card.
No, we have a
002,
few
okay.
more after this.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. 002. Okay. If there are 2 or fewer cards in stock, this gains 1/5 power. So for the
3/5?
chairman deck, you've got a 3/5 at the start of Encore Step.
The
If
deck
there's no
already
other
had a
rest-
3/5.
Yeah, you can have 8 3/5s.
Yeah.
If there's no other rested character in your front row, you may pay 1. If you do, rest this.
This card
Look,
is so good.
I said that as a joke, but I think you do actually play this in chairman.
Yeah. This is so good.
This is a nice card.
It's good profile. It needs to basically be clock bombed or stock bombed to actually get rid of it easily. Otherwise, it just keeps on beating. And yeah, it's playable niche.
Okay.
Playable
Plus
plus.
niche. Plus, sorry.
I'm actually playing this in newspaper over like an on-trade oversize. This is super good.
Okay, I guess. I like my 4Ks really, but that's just me.
3/5s with pay 1 pluses are better than 4Ks. Well, 3/5s with pay 1 over, I guess.
You're playing against opposing music decks is not really any better. That's all of DC, right?
No,
No.
we have some promos.
There's the promo.
Oh god, are they even on here?
I can read it. So this is
Great.
Sharu and Isla. Izia? Izia?
Izia.
2 Santa Clauses. 217K. This is newspaper and magic trait. This is an anti-change stock bomb. So when it gets reversed, if it gets reversed by a card whose level is higher than the level of your opponent, you can send that character to stock. And if you do, send the bottom card of your opponent's stock to the waiting room.
So there's not really much to talk about with this card. It can go into Sedoka, I guess. The only thing I do have to talk about is the reason for the name. Because lore, and because I'm sure there are filthy secondaries here. Like both of these two, I assume.
Huh.
The reason she's associated with Santa Claus is because the London arc of Charles is descended directly from Santa Claus.
This nerd.
So, the more you know.
We have one more card, but I don't have the translate. Oh wait, no, I don't. What the fuck?
What's the other
Which
card?
one?
It's the
red?
early play. It's the replay promo, the one that just came out or
Oh,
something.
sure. So it's a
probably talk about that.
3/2. It's a 3/2 music. It's got Coco on it, so I have to play it. It has, if you have 2 or fewer climaxes in your waiting room, you can early play it. Yeah, there it is. And at the beginning of your opponent's draw step, give something 4K.
This
I'm pretty sure
card
that's what
is
it does.
like 2,000 yen on UT, and I don't know why.
Because it goes into the music deck. And probably the magic deck, because that's Nemu for some reason. Why is it Nemu? I'm so confused. Why is that Nemu?
I don't know.
Oh, is that
Because they had to
Wait, I
make it match
I thought
music.
we were the secondaries.
Do you understand my implication as why I'm confused?
No.
These characters
look,
don't
DC
really
one.
interact that much.
They do not interact at all because not in this
They're
state,
from
because from different
DC3 and
generations.
DC1
Like
are...
Nemu is the grandmother of the protagonist of DC2.
Extra chapter or something.
No.
Wait, DC3 happens before DC1?
No. DC3 happens after DC1 and DC2, but it is linked to the past because of some descendant bullshit. So the London arc.
Is it a tree?
It's so DC3 is a Aspal. It starts off being like on the island, But it turns out that the only reason all these characters are on the island together is because in a past life they made a pact to come back and drink tea under the cherry blossoms or something.
Wow.
And that is the
And
entire.
it was one male and like 10 girls.
It's pretty wholesome.
Yeah, that's about right. Except Suginami persists throughout all generations. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about
It's-
Suginami.
The Suginami in the London arc is like a MI6 agent type. It's pretty funny.
Pretty flavorful that Suginami got the immortal card, basically. Well, the pseudo immortal card because you make him immortal.
Anyway, that's your DC lore for the day, and that'll do it for the DC set review.
I can finally go to sleep. In terms of DC overview, DC like newspaper is okay now. It's like actually a pretty good deck. Everything else is kind of not very good. I still have like a belief that like one type of magic / good stuff shell can be very good, but I haven't found it yet. So Sedokai is just kind of
Okay.
Sedokai has like nothing to put it over newspaper except compression, memory compression. So if you want to play like a deck with 10 memory, you can play like red, blue, green Sedokai. But you have no top end, so
Are we still
All right.
rolling?
Yes.
Cool. Sure. Well, that's DC for you, and that's his thoughts because he's going to collapse now.
yeah.